It's the Binge Bum Podcast. Whoa, it's time to talk about our favorite shows from all the streaming networks all across the globe, from Netflix to Hulu to Disney Plus and HBO. Get ready for fun and lots of show reviews. It's Binge Bum coming to you.
Oh my God, it's Friday, September 10th. Scott, you know what this means.
It means it's the first episode of season 2 of the Binge Bum Podcast.
Hey, I'm a little excited. It was fun taking those 2 weeks off, and now we're back getting into the fall. I still think it's officially fall. It's past September 1st now.
I know.
I'm loving it.
A couple weeks we can officially say it on the 22nd. But
this is when the good TV happens, man.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about in season 2. That's for damn sure.
That's right. Hey, let's get right into some news, starting with Netflix. We had talked about this, right? It may even have been the last episode of the last season. We were talking about Manifest because it was canceled from cable. Was it NBC?
It was NBC.
It was NBC. Manifest now lives. After weeks of negotiations, Netflix has reached a deal and has ordered a whopping 20-episode fourth and final season. That is huge.
Yeah, the creators are very excited about this because when the creator, the guy who came up with this, he directed a lot of episodes. He came up with the whole idea. He originally envisioned a 6-season arc, right, to tell his story.
Right.
So now, at least, since NBC canceled the series after 3 seasons and there was no resolution to the story, we still don't know where that airplane went and disappeared for several months. Right.
No idea.
Or why these people have these powers that they have. So finally, he's going to be able to condense his last 3 seasons into one and tell it in 20 episodes, which is pretty damn good and more than most Netflix series ever get.
Exactly, because I'm going to assume that these 20 episodes are an hour.
Yeah, or 45 minutes if they're going with the television idea.
I bet they're an hour. I bet they're a complete hour for streaming because it's taken out. They could tell more of a story and there's no time crunch.
Yeah.
This is like the perfect place for this thing to live and to get the story told.
The nice thing about Netflix and streaming, and this is true with all the streamers, is that they don't have to fit that exact time code. So a drama on network television has to be 44 minutes long. A sitcom, I think, has to be 22 minutes long to allow commercial breaks.
Right.
He's not going to have to worry about that now. He can tell his story the way he wants. So if one episode's going to be 55 minutes, the next episode's going to be 48 minutes, he can do that, and he can tell it without having to trim stuff. So
you even noticed that with Game of Thrones when it was on HBO, that there's really no time limit there. They really had their opportunity to tell the story, and they got a lot. They got a lot out.
I love that. Season. I love that. You're not, and they can also say the F word if they want. You know,
always bring that up.
I know.
But hey, get this, a fun fact that Netflix made the announcement, and maybe this is why that we were kind of teetering in our chairs.
They were waiting.
They were waiting for a specific date.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of the show, then you know this is that they made the announcement on August 28th. And what's this show about? It's about Flight 828.
So August 28th, 8/28. Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
That's why we had to wait, I think.
So
I think they knew all along. They just kept us waiting to make it cool for that date. I would.
Yeah. So they're gearing up production. They're going to be back in the studio sometime this year. So we're probably looking at late spring, early summer before we see season 4.
I bet it's this time next year.
But Netflix has been getting awesome numbers on the repeats. They made NBC made a deal, so the shows have been there. They're living there, and they're getting great.
Yeah, that actually
great views.
That moved pretty quickly to get those episodes over. That's why I kind of feel like that this deal had been in the can for a while. They just waited until the date. I don't blame them.
All right, so you have tons and tons of Apple TV news. And on this day, it's a week from next Tuesday is Apple's big reveal of new phones.
This is the big hardware keynote. This is rumored. It's the new iPhone, new Apple Watch, and I think maybe an iPad or something.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you've got tons of their news from streaming.
There's a couple of things. A new film, Ghosted. Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson are set to star for a new film for Apple TV+. Apple TV and the producers are being very, very tight-lipped about the project. They won't say anything, except we got a little snippet saying that it's been described as a romantic action-adventure film in the vein of Romancing the Stone.
I like that. Romancing the Stone was one of my favorite movies of I guess it was the late 80s. So, yeah, so this will be kind of fun. Evans is definitely on board with Apple TV. You might remember that he starred in Apple TV's Defending Jacob series, which we talked about early on in this in this show. And then Johansson, who probably won't be getting any Disney roles for a while, given her lawsuit against them.
That is true.
She's also signed up to make another film for Apple called Bride, which is coming soon. So she's got 2 movies coming to Apple TV.
Yeah, and another thing, coming soon is Raymond and Ray, a new film with Apple TV Plus. This is going to feature Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke have been cast in a new film, Raymond and Ray. It follows half brothers, obviously Raymond and Ray, who have lived in the shadow of their terrible father, and he dies, and like humor ensues and all this stuff. I won't go into the whole synopsis because this is way, way, way too early. The only reason why I bring this up is just to point out that Apple TV Plus getting the freaking stars, man.
They really are.
They are getting some A-list stuff. And that's Leonardo DiCaprio has a new film that's coming out. I think that's either late this year or early next year.
Yeah.
Another Tom Hanks movie that's coming next year called Finch. They're doing it, man.
They got a lot of stuff. This one looks good. I love both McGregor and Hawke, and haven't seen Ethan Hawke in something in a while, so this will be kind of fun to see him. And I think the 2 of them look like they could be brothers, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, they could pull it off.
And I think this will be a fun movie. This is a movie, right?
It
Not
is
a series. Okay,
yes,
cool.
It's a film. Apple TV Plus has also announced a premiere date for The Problem with Jon Stewart. We haven't talked about this in a while, and we had talked about it when we first got rumors of it, but it's just been not talked about because there hasn't been anything coming up. But now we have a premiere date.
But it's been in the pipeline for such a long time.
Oh, yeah. So we finally have a premiere date. The single issue series will premiere Thursday, September 30th, with new episodes every other week. And then additionally, the series will have a companion podcast that will also premiere on September 30th, but with episodes every week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
every Thursday.
Yeah, Jon Stewart hasn't been on our televisions for some time, since he left The Daily Show on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And he's been doing all kinds of projects, but this is his first real show that he's coming back with. I think it's weird that he's doing every other week. How come Bill Maher and the other guys can do every week, but that's all right. We'll take what we can get, right?
Yeah.
He is fun, and I like this idea that he's doing a single issue. So he's gonna tackle one thing in that show. I don't think he's going to be just sitting at a desk. I think it's going to be more like 60 Minutes type, where he's out in the field and talking to people. And,
I kind of get the feeling that this is like an episode of Vice News.
Yeah, it's not going to be fake. It's not going to be fake news like Comedy Central was. Yeah,
with a little bit of Bill Maher asking, because there has to be some comedy in there, right?
Right.
I mean, that's this whole shtick, but I don't think it's going to be on the level of his original show. It's going to be toned down a lot and actually get to the grunt of the story. It's
going to be a little bit more Bill Maher-ish, I think. Yeah, in that vein. Yeah,
but single issue where Bill Maher is multiple issues throughout the thing. I don't know. I'll watch a couple and see if I like it.
We shall see.
Yeah. Sad news. This is the sad news with Apple TV Plus. Last Thursday, Apple TV Plus confirmed that the 3rd season of Dickinson will be its last. The 3rd and final season will premiere on Friday, November 5th. I think it's going to take you all the way through Christmas. The first 3 episodes, followed by 1 new episode each Friday. It'll be a total of 10 episodes.
This is a very interesting show, and if you guys haven't checked it out, this is very period. It takes place back in the kind of the early 1800s, I think. Is that when Emily Dickinson was around? But it has very modern sensibilities. So I was watching a couple clips of it today, and they say man, he's so extra. And, saying things that kids today would say.
Right.
But it's very much in that time period. They're wearing the clothes of that time period. They're living the lifestyle that they would be living in that lifestyle.
I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, but they're talking like they would if they were alive today.
In present day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like Bridgerton, but maybe a little step further in taking things. Because, Bridgerton puts a Britney song in the background in a Baroque style.
But they play it Right.
Yeah.
That's I love what they do there. But it's not all sad news. Writer Elena Smith did say that she only envisioned this show as a 3-season journey. So
good.
So I suspect that this is actually not a cancellation. It's just the show is.
That's what it was.
The show is finishing.
And some shows are fine just doing that.
Right.
Like we say, a lot of shows stay around maybe too long.
Yes.
Beyond their expiration date.
Right.
I mean, my favorite show of all time, Dallas, was on the air for like 14 years. It should have ended with 9. So it just went way too far. And so sometimes this is good news.
Exactly. And if you're a fan of Elena Smith or you just follow writers, producers, directors, generally Smith has signed a multi-year deal with Apple and is creating, rumor is several projects are currently in the work for Apple TV Plus. So we will see what she comes up with.
We shall see. I've got some Hulu news for you.
Do it.
Yeah. Vacation Friends, which we're going to be talking about a little later in the show in our unqualified opinion section. It was announced this past weekend that Hulu is going to greenlight a second movie, a sequel.
Love this.
The second movie will be called Honeymoon Friends and will reunite the entire cast.
Right.
We're going to tell you a little bit about this later. It's a friggin' hilarious movie.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's not for kids.
No. It's not for kids at all.
But it is pretty fun. And speaking of kids, well, I guess Disney Plus is not all kids, but you got some Disney Plus news.
Well, I also want to go back to Vacation Friends.
Oh, sorry.
Because this was some big news for Hulu.
Okay.
Is that Vacation Friends was the most watched original on its opening weekend in Hulu's history.
I did not know that.
Yes. So that's why this was kind of immediately kind of renewed and they're working on this thing.
From the get-go.
And I suspect it's going to pick up. I mean, I don't know if I should say, but it's going to pick up where the other movie ended. I mean, they got married, and that wasn't a secret. That was in the trailer.
Yeah.
And so I guess they're going to show up on their honeymoon.
Since they announced the title as Honeymoon Friends, I guess we're going to the honeymoon now.
I love it. I love it.
I love it too. So Disney Plus news. Let's talk about Disney Plus. So they are reaching into their vault yet again, which they're known to do because we just talked about Jungle Cruise a couple weeks ago at the end of season 1. But they're going back. Their classic film 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is coming back as a series this time. It's called Nautilus, which of course is the name of the submarine manned by Captain Nemo. And in this adaptation will focus on Captain Nemo's origin story. So we'll find out where he came from and how he got to be captain of the Nautilus. It's going to be a 10-part series set to begin filming early in 2022. So we may not see this until the fall or winter of next year.
Yeah. So does this mean if it's going to be an origin story, we're not going to see the big octopus?
I'm sure octopuses have to be involved somehow.
It has to be, right?
I was just talking about this the other day to you. I was very upset that Disney World and Disneyland have changed 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the ride at their theme parks. They turned it into Finding Nemo, I think. So, things change, and that's fine.
Well, you got to keep up.
You got to keep up with the times.
You just can't have a ride from a movie from the 50s.
Sure.
I mean, kids aren't going to relate to it.
I know it had Kirk Douglas in it. Right. I get it. Yeah. So we're coming back. Maybe this will make 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea cool again because it'll be on Disney Plus and everyone's going to watch it. Every family has that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll turn, Finding Nemo back into 20,000
Finding
Leagues
Nemo,
Under the Sea.
Captain Nemo.
No, I was Finding Nemo is what they turned 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea into.
Oh, that's right.
I know. Yeah. So Nemo's in both.
Right. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Moving on. Peacock announced that the revived Punky Brewster series will not be returning for a second season.
Oh, poor Punky.
Oh, hey, but I think she actually did really well with the Kid 90.
Yes, her documentary film.
That was huge.
You're talking about Soleil Moon Frye.
Soleil Moon Frye, yes. While Soleil Moon Frye and the producers wanted to continue the series, it was Peacock who decided not to move forward with the second season. The series did end up with an 81% Rotten Tomatoes rating.
Yeah, it got good ratings, but if Peacock is canceling it, then it probably did not get viewership.
You only need one person to say it was great, and it got 100%. If it's just one person watching it, you're not going to renew it, right?
That's right. We also have some Fresh Prince news. You guys might have known that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
we've talked about this last
season. The 1990 sitcom starring, of course,
Will Smith.
Will Smith in the lead role is being remade into a 1-hour drama version. So it's taking a totally different
thing.
We're going in a totally different direction, but we're telling the same story about Will's journey from
This is an origin story.
Right, from West Philadelphia to Bel-Air, but in a drama form instead of a 3-camera sitcom in front of a studio audience, that kind of show.
Yeah.
So the new will be played by Jabari Banks. He is a West Philadelphian, so
himself. Yeah,
I
actually think that's
casting.
Really, really cool.
Yeah. But he's a newcomer. This will be his first on-screen role. Was a musical theater major in college. He's performed on the stage, of course, and he's a singer and he plays instruments, but he's never acted on film before. So this will be the first time for him.
Love it.
We don't have a date yet, but this will be on Peacock sometime next year.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have to be next year because the video that Will Smith posted on his social media where he surprise Skype called this kid was just posted yesterday.
Oh, that's so cool.
So this is brand new news. They couldn't move on without the new Will, right? So
I like it.
Yeah, so this is going to be a while coming, but I love the direction that they're going with this. It's not going to be that classic sitcom laugh track. This is going to be cool, I think.
Love it.
I just hope it's funny. I also hope it has some comedy in it. I mean, Will Smith is funny.
I think there'll be some. Hopefully, there'll be a little a couple laughs in there. But it is being billed as a drama. So
we'll get to see maybe a glimpse into Will Smith's growing up in West Philadelphia. Yeah, you agree?
I agree.
Okay, yes. There you go.
I have to use my words since we're on the radio.
Exactly. And finally, speaking of Paramount Plus news, they have confirmed a premiere date. We've talked about this many, many, many times. The Yellowstone prequel, 1883, is going to premiere Sunday, December 19th.
Wow.
This is the one that will follow the Dutton's family's kind of frontier journey to the West. This is the cool part, though. It's Sam Elliott, Tim McGraw, and Faith Hill.
I kind of
feel like we are going to check this out. I know that you were not a fan of the original Yellowstone. I liked it.
I found Yellowstone very violent, overly violent, and disturbing, actually. Okay. But I will check out 1883 because I want to see Faith Hill and Tim McGraw, who are country stars, and they're married to each other. I want to see how they do in this television drama.
I will say that's probably my number one draw to want to watch this is because of those two. So again, that's Sunday, December 19th. We're going to check it out, and I'm sure it'll be an unqualified opinion.
It will be.
Soon.
Right at Christmas time.
Exactly.
Can't wait.
Unqualified opinions.
We watched several things.
We did. I mean,
not all of them from the last episode of the last season, but we got a lot in.
Right. We were off for a couple weeks, so we watched some stuff.
We did. Up first, we already talked about this, was Vacation France on Hulu with John Cena, Lil Ray Howery. I tell you, what you think?
I was very thoroughly entertained.
It was incredibly funny.
It's a really fun movie. It's not deep. It's not intellectual. It's just silly and fun. It's kind of, reminds me of so many movies silly slapstick movies that take place on vacations. Yeah. But it was just great. I enjoyed every moment of it.
Because my worry was when I saw the trailer, and every time that I see a trailer for a comedy, I was like, the whole fucking movie is in this trailer, right? It's just probably...
But it wasn't.
Because it's too good. But it wasn't, and it's absolutely great, and I think it's a must-watch. Obviously, it is, because it was the most watched original on Hulu in their history, and they immediately already have signed on for a sequel. And the sequel is going to have the original 4 cast members.
Of course.
I think it's great.
How could you do it without them?
Right.
And in case you guys don't know, it's a couple meets up with another couple on vacation in Mexico but their friendship takes an awkward turn when they get back home. So that's the whole slapstick of it. They just, they had fun with them in Mexico, and then they got home, and they're having their wedding, and all of a sudden this really crazy couple shows up and kind of turns everything upside down.
Yeah,
it's totally unrealistic and ridiculous, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, they play an over-the-top version of a couple who basically they live life day by day.
By the balls, right?
And they get as much out of it every single day that they can. It's really funny. I love it. You got to watch it.
Yeah, turn it on. It's on Hulu, and I recommend it. John Cena is so funny in this.
Yes.
He's really good. He can play drama. He can play action. He can play fake wrestling guy. He can do it all.
Right? And what is it with all these wrestlers? They're becoming actors.
I know. They're taking
like
over.
The Rock.
They're taking over Hollywood.
And The Rock has got some news coming up too, but it's way too early to start talking about it. But we'll get to that.
Well, he works nonstop, so
Constantly.
He's in everything.
Exactly.
I want to talk about the next one.
Go.
Guys, also on Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, I don't know what's wrong with you. Such a great original, really original series.
Yes.
Called Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin, Martin Short, who are best friends in real life, and then add Selena Gomez to it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
So great. 3 strangers who share an obsession with true crime. They all listen to the same true crime podcast. That's how they became friends originally at the beginning of this series. They suddenly find themselves caught up in a real life murder mystery in the apartment building that they all live in New York City. And there's a lot going on here. I don't want to give it away because I didn't know any of this before we watched it, but each character is very deep and has a lot going on, and there's a lot of backstory to each one of them.
Yes,
but don't give it away.
There's a big revelation in the second episode.
Yes.
With Selena Gomez's Mabel.
Yes.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah,
that's all I can tell you.
All you can say.
And we've only gotten to the second episode, and it is absolutely fantastic.
But let me tell you, I literally thought it was something else just from watching the previews. I just thought it was just the 3 of them getting into a dorky
I thought
mystery.
It was going to be more weird comedy, trying too hard comedy kind of thing.
But it's more of a comedy drama.
Right, a dramedy.
But what I didn't know is that these characters are all very flawed. They have backstories. There are things going on that they're not necessarily telling the other people, the other friends of theirs.
Because Martin Short's character is
got problems.
Very financially has issues.
Well, and Steve Martin obviously has problems too. He's oh my gosh, we can't say anything more because I think it's great if people don't know.
Right, and this series is way too new.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about it later. Maybe once we finish the
I think there are 4 episodes out now, and then there's one each week, so you guys can get caught up pretty fast. Each episode's only half an hour. So you can get through it pretty fast.
I like that.
But it's very well done. It's beautifully filmed. It's filmed at a very beautiful real life. I learned.
Yeah.
It's a real apartment building in New York.
I love it. I love that courtyard.
Yeah.
In New York. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And do you know that some of the apartments have gone up to like $15 million in that building?
Because of the show?
No. It's one of New York's premier apartment buildings.
Yeah, but look at the
amazing
space,
that they
the space
allowed them to use it.
Right. But look at the space in these apartments. You can't find that 1,000 square foot apartment in New York City.
No. We did watch something else. Do you want to talk about 9/11?
Well, yeah. So Apple TV Plus premiered 9/11 Inside the President's War Room.
Yeah.
And I did put this on here for a reason because when it comes this time of year, I'm obsessed with these type of things.
And tomorrow is Saturday, September 11th.
Correct.
Yeah, 20 years. 20 years.
I know. It's crazy. It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
No, it doesn't. Time flies.
Right. I mean, I can still remember where I was when this whole thing happened.
So do I.
Yeah,
I was there.
I think everyone.
Yeah, I saw the smoke from the Pentagon from my office window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I bring this because I'm obsessed with this, and I watch these things, and a lot of the times throughout, the past 19 years, they kind of replay the same documentaries, and I still watch them over and over and over. But I love this one, and the reason why is because they tell this through the eyes of President Bush.
Yeah.
And what was happening in real time. Like there's a ticker,
minute by minute.
There's a ticker and it goes through what was happening each time. And they got Condoleezza Rice, Dick Cheney, So all of his advisors and kind of
Karen Hughes,
the hell that happened that day. And it's crazy. And not only that, it's basically they tell the reason why we now have a Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Because like the FBI and the CIA, the NSA all had this info, but they weren't sharing it.
Right.
And so that's why we have Homeland Security.
So now we're trying to be better at sharing information about possible threats. Right. But it's really interesting to watch this documentary and see exactly what happened step by step that day. A lot of people gave President Bush a lot of shit because he was not in Washington and he didn't seem to be front and center dealing with.
And you find out why.
You find out why. I mean, literally, they would not let him come back to D.C. because there were so many credible threats against,
so many unknowns.
Yeah, against his airplane, which they call Angel. That was the code name for Air Force One. There was threats, obviously, to the White House. That airplane that was crash landed into Pennsylvania was supposedly supposed to come either to the White House or to the Capitol building. Right. So much. I learned stuff. I knew a lot of it, but I learned some stuff, and you really got to see into the president's mind, into Bush's mind, because he sits down for interviews. Cheney sat down for interviews. Cheney, of course, was in the bunker under the White House and running things from there, and President Bush was up in his airplane. It was a crazy day, obviously, for everyone.
But that's what I like about it, because I actually learned something that I did not previously know watching all the other previous documentaries.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fun.
For sure. And we're going to go from 9/11 to something so stupid. But I have to tell you guys about this because I did watch it this week. This week on Peacock, NBC, of course, owns Peacock. They put out Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem. It's this just a 1 week thing, which is so fun. They brought back so many previous stars of Days of Our Lives, plus several of the current stars of Days of Our Lives.
Oh,
the soap opera.
I didn't know this was a one-off.
Yeah, it's just a one-off.
It's not a series.
No, it's just a one-off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a special.
Okay.
So each episode's about 45 minutes long. There's 5 of them, I think. And so they're just telling this one story, kind of while the other story is going on Days of Our Lives, the soap opera on NBC, the regular broadcast network. So this is just for streamers, just on Peacock. They brought people back like Lisa Rinna, who played Billy on Days of Our Lives off and on over the years. They brought back several other people, and it's kind of fun.
I tell you what.
But I'll tell you, though, I just have to tell you, the production value leaves a lot to be desired. But it's fun. If you're a fan... If you're a longtime fan of that crazy, crazy show that's had everything from exorcisms to possessions to talking dolls to all kinds of stuff, you will dig this show.
All right.
It's got Jack A. Harry in it, too.
Hey, I do like her a lot.
Yeah, and Eileen Davidson is back as Kristen. I mean, there's a lot going on here. So if you guys are fans of Days, you'll get a kick out of this. It's streaming now on Peacock.
New shows are coming your way. It's coming soon.
Hey, that's right. We actually have quite a few this week. First up, this is the time, 'tis the season, right, for Halloween. It starts early.
For scary stuff.
Right, for September 1st.
Yes.
And I am digging this. It's called Midnight Mass. It's a new series on Netflix. It's going to premiere September 24th.
Just a few weeks away.
Right. And you know why I kind of digging this? It stars Hamish Linklater. Yes. Do you know him?
Yeah, he's from the
Christine show.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just played like a
New Adventures of Old Christine.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just kind of played this dorky brother to Christine.
Yeah.
He's just playing something completely different, and I'm totally excited. The synopsis of this is an isolated island community experiences miraculous events and frightening omens after the arrival of a charismatic, mysterious young priest who is played by
Hamish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. You got to watch the trailer for this. And I'm digging.
It's
and Zach Gilford.
Yeah, he plays the character that comes back to town after being gone for a while.
Yeah, and I should have wrote this down, but you might not know him by name, but you'll know him by face. He's been in a couple of things. I do like him a lot. But this is going to be cool.
It looks super creepy.
Yeah.
But it's perfect for the fall, right?
Like I'm trying to find another series that can relate, but I can't think of
it looks one. It looks very, very unique.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this one. This one comes out on September 24th to Netflix. Excited about it.
You are like all up in arms about this next one.
I'm not all up in arms about it, but I'm excited
you just
about
can't
it.
wait.
Yeah, so Netflix, coming on October 1st, is a new film from Jake Gyllenhaal. It's called The Guilty. Now, Jake Gyllenhaal went to some film festival over in like Norway or Sweden or something, and he saw this movie, and he immediately thought, wow, I can remake that movie. So he bought the rights, he brought it back to the United States, he found a writer, he found a director, and they remade the movie. And of course, he cast himself in the lead. The Guilty takes place over the course of a single morning on a 911 dispatch call center. So Gyllenhaal is playing this former cop who is now, he got demoted for some reason.
Right.
And now he's working in the 911 dispatch center. And a call comes in, someone's in grave danger, and he has to figure out what the hell's going on. It kind of reminds me of that Halle Berry movie where she's playing a 911 operator and has to find the kidnapped kid in the trunk of the car.
Right.
It's basically that movie.
Right.
So I'm not sure why Jake Gyllenhaal thought this was something brand new, but it does look good if the trailer is any indication.
It looks like it's filmed incredibly well. And
it's very fast and exciting and
Yes.
seat of your pants kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Guilty is coming to Netflix on October 1st.
That's right. Also on October 1st, coming to HBO Max. I think everyone has been waiting for this. The Many Saints of Newark. This is the prequel, sort of, to Sopranos.
It is.
Yeah. Starring Michael Gandolfini, the son of James Gandolfini.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's the one.
Who played Tony Soprano.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta. Love
him.
Leslie Odom Jr. is also going to be.
There's a lot of great people in this.
Also going to be in this. We talked about this before. It's just a prequel. It's basically his son who is wanting to go to college, but he idolizes his uncle way too much, and he's a really bad example and leads him to become Tony Soprano.
Yeah, so a young Anthony Soprano. It's the origin story taking place in Newark. I'm very excited about this. A lot of people are excited about this because Sopranos was one of HBO's best,
big time,
and most popular shows of all time, right up there with Game of Thrones and Sex and the City. I mean, it was what put HBO on the map, really. Right. So many people are excited about this. David Chase has been wanting to do this for years. He finally got it done, and this has been in the can for a long time. Because of COVID, it's been just sitting on a shelf waiting, and they're finally doing. This is one of those day and dates. It's going to be in movie theaters and on HBO Max.
I forgot to make that note.
Yeah, on October 1st. So really excited about this. I'll guarantee you, Dale, I am going to be watching this before I watch The Guilty on Netflix. But
really,
yeah, we're going to watch the Many Saints of Newark. I just need to get you caught up on The Sopranos.
Well, here's the thing. Sopranos came out when? A while ago.
15, 18 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think with my age, I wasn't watching TV like that. So that it missed me.
Yeah.
And so I'm almost sure, looking at it, that I would probably enjoy it.
I think you would love The Sopranos, and I would be glad to sit down with you and watch the entire thing.
I mean, I love whatchamacallit from Married with Children.
All right, well, as soon as we turn off this microphone, we should go up and watch season 1, episode 1.
There we go.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
What else is happening on Netflix?
October 15th. Season 3 of You
finally
will premiere.
Finally.
This has also been a long time coming.
Yeah.
If you don't know it's just, how would you describe him? He's
kind of a psychopath.
Yeah, that might be the best way.
Yeah, but a very intelligent, well-read psychopath.
Yes, and he kind of inserts himself into people's lives who he's like asphyxiated with.
Yeah.
And things always go wrong.
Yeah.
He's almost like kind of maybe the perfect psychopath, and like something that you would see on the ID channel.
But he's very lovable and everyone likes him, and he gets away with a lot of shit. This is played by Penn Badgley, who was Gossip Girl. I mean, he was on Gossip Girl for several years, and it turned out that he was Gossip Girl at the end of the series.
Yeah.
And then he went on to make You. This is season 3, finally coming out October 15th.
Now he's married and he has a baby.
There's
Baby
a
Henry.
baby named Henry. We'll
Yeah.
put the trailer up on our Facebook page so you guys can check it out.
It's kind of a cool trailer.
Looks super creepy. Season 1 was better than season 2, so
Agreed.
I still have some high hopes that they'll pull it out and make season 3 better than season 2.
Well,
but
supposedly the
we'll
rumor
find
is
out.
that season 3 is going to be moving from California to a more rural place.
Okay.
And I think that's going to work better because he can do his things without being seen. Like that kind of thing in a city life, buzzy doesn't work.
Yeah. And we do know his current wife knows that he's a psychopath
Yeah,
and a
she's
murderer.
kind of like gone on
She's
with
kind
it.
of like in on it. So
Right.
we'll have to see where it goes from there. If you guys haven't watched season 1 and 2, we just ruined it for you. So, but what have you been doing? Everyone has Netflix,
Right. I mean, if a thing's over a year old, you haven't watched it, and I just spoiled something for you, then the fault's on you.
All right.
We're gonna tell you what to watch this week. It's time for Up Next.
All right, we have on this list just one more thing regarding September 11th, right? And this is actually a happy one if there ever could be one. And I think this story has been told in another movie or at least a documentary before. Apple TV is making a musical about this. It's called Come From Away. It's going to premiere today, drops today. I recommend that you watch it. I hate musicals, but this looks so much fun. Basically, what this does is this tells the story that when the United States shut down the entire air travel, that 38 flights landed in this really, really small Canadian town. And everyone, all the townsfolk, like took care of and took these people in.
They had to because there
They
were no
grounded
hotels.
there was no hotels.
7,000 people,
A
Dale.
lot of freaking people.
7,000 people were just all of a sudden dumped in this town. And as we know,
That couldn't hold them.
yeah, air travel was down for a week or more.
Yeah.
So everyone opened their homes and
Right.
took people in. And so this was a Broadway musical. It won Tony Awards. It was on Broadway for a couple of years, I think. And it's a very feel good, happy, let's all come together kind of a show.
I mean,
yeah.
if you needed something to get out of that day, this is it. This is like the only thing that you could have.
And I know you don't love Broadway musicals, and I don't love usually this kind of thing, but just watching the trailer, I kind of think I could get into this.
It's
and
on
this
my
is,
list
And this
already.
is not a movie. It's actually just filming the Broadway musical on
Right.
stage. So you're actually watching the musical from a stage, from beginning to end.
Right, and there's some funny parts. Like there's one part that's in the trailer where someone is shopping at a Walmart, and she says, "Hi, welcome to Walmart. Do you need to come over to my place and take a shower?" It's like they're very helpful, and I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's worth a watch.
I wonder if Americans would have been so
I don't think so.
inviting and opening their homes too.
Maybe if it was a really, really small town, but if you got 38 Canadian flights landing at JFK,
Yeah. I'll take
they're
some.
on their fucking own.
No, that's
Yes, they
there's
are.
plenty of hotels in New York.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But people aren't expecting, they might not be financially prepared to stay for a week in New York City.
True. All right, so this next one scares the hell out of me.
Does it?
Yeah. This is called Malignant. It's a new film coming to HBO Max on September 10th. That is today, so you guys can watch it tonight if you want. I would watch it after dark.
Right.
This one looks really friggin' creepy. It's about Madison, who is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murderers. And her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams that she's having are actually happening.
Yeah, she's kind of like seeing
She's
crimes being committed and weird things.
Right. So this is a day and date. So you guys could
is.
either go out to the movie theater tonight if you want to wear a mask and eat expensive popcorn, or you can watch it tonight on HBO Max. If you have a subscription,
That's what I
you have
recommend.
31 days to watch it.
Right.
But man, we will also put this trailer up on Facebook today. I want people to know. I like to put up the trailers that are available now right away so
right.
people know. But this one looks super, super creepy. It's from the director who made the Saw movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the writer or producer of House on Haunting Hill.
Yes.
Remember that?
So the two of them combined, it looks super creepy. It's the kind where I'd probably be up on my like haunches on the couch, like, you know, covered with a blanket going, what the fuck?
Yeah. It doesn't so much look bloody or violent in a way. It's more mysterious and scary, and things move in different ways. It is the season. Like
it is the season. It's coming. That's what the fall is all about.
That's right.
So totally changing notes here.
And I was going to skip over this, but you ruined it by saying totally changing notes here. And I just thought this was fun because every once in a while, because I know there are probably some parents watching, right? And so we got to include some kid stuff every once in a while. And the only reason why I did this is because of who made it. And September 13th, HBO Max is going to debut their animated series, Little Ellen. And Ellen is for Ellen DeGeneres. She is behind all of this. It's basically just a little cute cartoon, and she goes on little adventures. That's pretty much it.
It's the 7-year-old version of Ellen DeGeneres.
I know.
But here's the thing that disappoints me. So I thought this was going to be more like an adult thing, like The Simpsons or Family Guy or something. It's totally not that.
Or like that royal one?
Yeah, the royal one that we've been talking about. So, but this one literally is made for kids.
Yes, I mean,
so
the
it's not
7-year-old Ellen is not going to be a lesbian,
right? And it's not, and they're not going to be talking about current events. This is made for kids.
She goes on little adventures with her little animal friends.
And what's very disappointing though is that 7-year-old Ellen is not voiced by Ellen DeGeneres.
It's not, and
I'm not even sure why she needs to be involved.
Why? It's a cartoon.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it does.
Ellen DeGeneres at what is she, 60?
Yeah.
Can't voice a 7-year-old.
Why not?
Because it's weird. But here's what one of the movies on this list that I am most looking forward to.
So cool.
Is September 15th, Peacock is going to premiere a new film called My Son. It stars James McAvoy, who I love. And
Claire Foy, who played Queen Elizabeth on The Crown.
Right.
Yeah.
And so basically this is a story about a mother and father who finds out their son went missing from a campsite, but it becomes clear that he was actually kidnapped. But here is the kicker.
This is the best.
Here's the kicker.
The best part, y'all.
Is that the entire cast and crew had a script, dialogue, knew the scenes, everything.
Right.
Main character, James McAvoy, knew nothing. And it was meant to be that way.
He didn't have a script.
He didn't have a script.
He didn't know
He didn't know dialogue.
What was going to happen.
He only knew scenes as they were happening. And that from the cast who were pushing him to that. So when he got in the trailer, when he got the call from his ex-wife about their son missing, he had no idea that was coming.
Right.
So he's reacting in real time. Like he's finding out as we're finding out as watchers of the whole thing.
Right.
It's freaking badass. And I can't wait.
Love that.
I cannot
love
wait
that
to
concept.
watch it.
And if you need to know that, before you watch the movie, and that makes the movie so much more fun.
Right, because I think his expressions and are just going to be like, it's like what we're sitting on the couch, like, what the fuck?
And what an amazing experiment that is, right? And we'll find out because we haven't watched the movie. It comes out next Wednesday. But we'll find out if it works, right?
Well, I will say that it's not so much an experiment because I think I told you earlier before we started to do the show that this is from a 2017 French film. So this has been remade into English, and the original French film did the same thing. Their main male character also did not have script or dialogue, so they're redoing it.
Yeah, I get that, but it's an experiment getting James McAvoy to do it because he's never done it before. Right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's why I love, I'm a huge fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm on HBO.
Yes.
Love that show. And the one reason I love it so much is I know there's no script. He takes his characters out, he takes his actors out, and he says, okay, here's basically what the scene is about. But there's no lines. Just play. Let's play off each other. Yeah. We have to get to this point in this scene, so that where we need to get to. But I'm not going to tell you what to say.
Right.
Now they didn't even do that with James McAvoy. He had no idea what was happening.
None.
So he had to just play off the other actors.
Exactly.
And what he's saying is from his own mind, not from a script. So I find this amazing. Peacock, September. Peacock, for God's sake.
I know, right?
You're the one that complained that Peacock didn't have original stuff.
And
this is pretty cool.
Right, and that's not all. Hey, September 16th.
The very next day.
The very next day, they are going to premiere their new series, Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. I don't know. Do you feel like there's just a certain small group of people who like Dan Brown books and films? Like,
no,
it's huge. It's massive,
it's
right?
Massive.
Right.
Dan Brown books are one of the most the biggest in the last 20 years.
Yeah. So get this. This new series, The Lost Symbol, follows the early adventures of young Harvard symbologist. Right? I got that right. Yes. Robert Langdon, who must solve a series of deadly puzzles to save his kidnapped mentor and thought a chilling global conspiracy.
Yeah. Now, Tom Hanks originally played Langdon in the Da Vinci Code movies that were on the big screen. So now we're going back. This is the origin story. This is a series.
That's what surprised me. That was a series.
Kind of excited about this. Now, I find Dan Brown's. I read the Da Vinci Code. I read Angels and Demons. He's not the best writer in the world, but man, was he commercial. He was a commercial success, and millions and millions and millions of people bought those books, and they all watched the movies too. So I think they're going to show up to watch this series.
And I watched Da Vinci Code. I enjoyed it, but here's what this trailer, and I feel like The Lost Symbol is going to be a little bit better than the original films. And I'll tell you that when I first saw this, the first thing that comes to my mind is a mix of National Treasure meets Indiana Jones.
Absolutely.
That is the first thing that comes to my mind. And I'm for that.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
I agree with you. That's exactly what this looks like.
That could be a new series to get into.
No, and this will probably do really good for Peacock. So I'm excited for them.
I mean, I tell you, in this month, this new season, Peacock they're all for it, man. That's going to do it for this episode of the Binge Bump Podcast. If you like our show, be sure to rate us wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcast. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, happy binging.